Greetings, fellow visitors. This is Upgrade Terminal, a Star of Providence fan cast. I'm Malachi.
And I'm Nick. Welcome back to the facility.
This is part 2 of our episode on the weapons of Star of Providence with Ruben. We'll get right back to it.
And now we move on to the second section, which is unique weapons. The game's special weapons sometimes with unique keywords. There's a total of 42 in the game at the moment, if you include the ones that you get from Temple. We're not going to talk about all of them, goodness no, but we'll go back to the same points, like what are some uniques that could use some rebalancing? And once again, let's start with Ruben. What uniques you feel could maybe use some tweaking?
I'll preface this by saying this one, like most in need of rebalancing unique weapon, that was the hardest for me to pick. Because for this example, I'm just going to ignore that some weapons are really good, but they have low ammo. Like that's supposed to be one of like the trade-offs you make with like a unique weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can be like, well, this weapon would be good if I could use it for more than half the floor. But I'm going to pick one that I just saw once used and then never used again.
And what would that be?
That'll be Shockwave by Pulsar.
Oh, right, Shockwave.
I think the concept of this like unique is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like something that shoots in every direction. But or maybe I just had a bad experience, but when I tried it, either I completely melt something or it takes forever. There's very little in between. Either it's like you're on machine, boom, 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 it's dead. Yeah. Or okay, well, I'm gonna sit here. Okay, let's yep, that's almost a fifth of its health. Yeah. And I don't know how you could ever balance this in a satisfying way because it is kind of like an all or nothing weapon, right? You either hit 20 shots or you hit like a couple. So I'm not definitely not gonna armchair game design there, dude, like on this one. But that's the one where I look at it, I'm like, I don't think I'm ever picking this up again.
No, that's completely fair.
I had never thought of how good it would be against a boss. That makes a lot of sense though, because you could just get right up there and
if it's a boss that doesn't deal contact damage or you have cloak, then you can sit on top of an enemy and every single shot hits, and then the DPS is extremely powerful on purpose.
Yeah.
It's very risky, and again, it's a whole Pulsar thing of like how reckless are you willing to play for maximum damage. But it's a very fair answer. It makes sense.
So you guys are both going to accuse me of copying Ruben's homework, but mine is also Shockwave. For this, one of the same reasons, it always seems to take a really long time, and it pushes all the enemies away, which can be useful, but it does seem like it makes rooms take a long time to complete.
I mean, I would counter that by kind of saying, well, if you know it's going to push enemies back, you need to push forward with them.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. It's not an easy weapon to use. I love Pulsar, and even I'm like, yeah, this requires a bit of approaching it with a certain strategy in mind. So
normal Pulsar is cool as hell, and I always love using it. This one, like it's almost the concept taken too far. I'd say like I don't like it's so situationally useful. You can't always make it work. Like I said, if a boss just deals contact damage, what do you do?
Or if you can't get too close, like something like Overlord.
Exactly. And Ruben, I think you bringing the point up of like, hey, we're not armchair game developing here is important because that's not what we're trying to do. This is just kind of our personal, I don't really like Shockwave. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad weapon.
Yeah. It's what do they always say in the industry? Like it's a player story or something, like a feedback point, something you could consider. That makes it sound really digestible, hopefully, if I say it like that. But I love again. I prefaced it by saying I love the concept for the weapon, but I can't even imagine a way of making this either not too overpowered or too underpowered, right?
I mean, it's not our job to figure it out,
It's also
really.
not us. Yeah, the least qualified person in the room probably is me here.
Oh,
So
no, me. I never done game design, so I don't have no clue. Okay, so I had some choices for unique setting rebalancing, and there's a few that I know for a fact the beta will retouch them, like address those things. I'll just say these very quickly. I won't go into them. Twin Wave had its base ammo set before the phasing keyword implemented an ammo nerf, so you eat all of its ammo supremely quickly. That got fixed.
Okay.
Luxor does pathetically weak damage.
yeah,
It's it's absurdly low,
and it's one of the coolest looking weapons too, in my
and it does
opinion.
nothing. It
Yeah,
does
it does.
not. You point it at a boss, it does nothing. Pure has to run the numbers and went, yeah, this needs to be have its damage increase straight up. That got done. The Thunderhead Gorinich, the biggest problem it has in live is that as soon as it hits a wall, it fizzles, and in certain rooms that makes it near impossible. In the
Hmm.
beta, that weapon now has phasing to sort of alleviate that, makes it much
Oh,
better. Thank
nice.
goodness. There is one unique that I feel needs, well, that I just don't like the way that it plays, and as far as I know, has not been changed in beta, and that's the runic Council's Blessing.
That was actually I had that written down. I changed that at the last minute because I feel like am I too stupid? Is there like some benefit to this that I didn't
As
recognize?
far as I know, so here's the problem. To explain how it works, you fire kind of like almost a halo type projectile at enemies. It lands onto them, it deals damage to them, and it also makes like little Vulcan shots hit another enemy. In principle, that seems okay. That seems pretty cool. In practice, it's kind of very disappointing. Like
Hmm.
it never feels like it dies. Like it's a runic unique. You feel it's. I like how strange and unusual it is thematically and mechanically. I love that about it. I just think that in practice, it doesn't do a lot of damage, and in particular against rooms that have a lot of weak enemies, it is very bad because as soon as the enemy is dead, the halo vanishes. That's it, gone. You're done, and you have to fire another shot. And if it's just a whole bunch of ghosts, you're just firing a shot and firing a shot, and it's inefficient and wasteful.
Hmm.
I feel like that halo should last for a certain amount of time, and if the enemy dies before them, it should fly off to another enemy, latch onto them, and keep doing this damage.
Hmm. Like
Because
Halos do. There is a Halo that does that
yes,
normally,
Halos
right?
do that,
Yeah.
and I feel like why doesn't that follow that logic? Why is this one gone the instant the enemy dies? That's weak, and it like I like the idea of like you're using some of the council's power to sap enemies and they cause them to damage each other thematically and mechanically. I love that.
Hmm.
In practice, this feels like it's just not doing a lot, and in some cases, like I had a stream where I had council's blessing, and I had the room where it was the worm mini boss of floor 3 and a whole bunch of swarmers, and
Oh my god, how do you ever beat that?
it was it was agony. I was like, I hate this so much.
It became Council's curse.
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much. So yeah, in my opinion, this weapon, I like the theme and I like its mechanical uniqueness, but it needs to be reworked, in my opinion, just straight up because
Hmm.
it doesn't work well.
I wish you could scrap items in the middle of a room instead of just use as a bomb when you try to do that.
Well, that's not what we have.
Yeah.
Okay, enough about me griping. Let's move on to a unique that grew on Ruben.
This one, I actually had one that probably most people hate, or at least the impression I got whenever I saw someone pick it up on screen was like, "No, this is trash. Don't bother with this."
Hmm.
But I really love Headhunter. That's the
Oh,
revolver
yeah.
where you basically get like a selected target that
Hmm.
glows yellow, and you have to shoot, and you'll get you'll get a buff. I think it's It's definitely speed, damage. That's
I
another
think
one.
firing speed. I think.
That's probably it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
For some, I really love the additional challenge there of like, okay, we're just gonna give you like a ghost that's in the back of the room. You kill it, and then you get a reward for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's a little mini game inside the game for me.
Hmm.
And the my favorite weapon here, I think I would say that grew on me is because it, unlike oh, this weapon is just strong, this weapon is just weak. Like this one just changes how I play quite significantly, and it just feels really nice to use. I think so. I didn't like it at the beginning because it felt weak. Oh, it's just homing revolver.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever. But I've used it since then, and it's really really cool.
I do know for a fact that when Pure designs uniques, he wants it to be a kind of mini game in of itself. Like you have to have this a little additional layer of complexity or tactics,
Hmm.
and in return you get something that's both very efficient and also very cool. Like it should be pointed out, coolness is something that every unique should aspire to have in spades. All of
Yeah.
these weapons should be super cool, and I about Headhunter in particular, I sometimes I'm frustrated with the one enemy that it chooses because sometimes it picks an enemy that, because of the room layout, I can't really damage until I've killed almost everything else. I
Hmm.
find that its judgment can be a bit frustrating, but I still agree it is a good revolver. And when you get good rooms and you can start hitting a streak of like you have to kill this one and then this one and this one, it feels exhilarating, that rush.
It's yeah. I think that's the word I was looking for. It's just exhilarating.
Right, Malachi, what's a unique that grew on you?
So the unique that grew on me was Soundwave.
Oh, the other pulses are unique.
Yeah. So I think it just basically took me way too long to learn how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, I didn't realize. And someone pointed it out to me at one point. Someone was streaming. I was like, oh, because I was not using Ricochet to
Mm-hmm.
power it up. Right. And I was like, this thing is so weak. So when I'd go into a room and I'm shooting it with sound waves, I just felt really underpowered. But it is also a mini game, kind of
Mm-hmm.
in the same way Headhunter is, where you're trying to ricochet off the walls and do more damage to the enemies. And I like how that kind of shifts my play style, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
think differently and approach rooms differently when I have Soundwave. So at first I was like, this is weak. Then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it.
I will also go on a slight tangent here, and that I appreciate that out of all of the weapon types in the game, pulsars have a theme in their naming of the unique. So it's sound wave, shock wave, and twin wave, and the fourth unique that's being added in the update still follows that pattern. And I just love that. Like my favorite weapon has this theme that the game sticks to. I love it. But yeah, I will say, as much as I like Pulsar, Soundwave is one that is challenging for me to use. Maybe not against bosses, because bosses are pretty big, so you can just like point at the corner, just go bam bam and hit it. But against
Hmm.
certain rooms, I feel like I don't have quite as much control over it as I wish I did because of when you fire it, there's a random deviation of like the angle they can shoot at, and when it bounces, that gets amplified. So I love that you love it, but for me, it feels like it's just I would honestly rather have Shockwave if I'm completely honest.
Over Soundwave.
Yes, but
That's
again, you have to
interesting.
remember I am the type of person who's fully willing to go all in on doing stupid shit.
I actually am not the biggest fan of Soundwave
Hmm.
because of like it's a lot of effort to get like the two walls, and also maybe this is some fault in my own like type of play. Because I know you like hitting two extra walls deals more damage. I always try to do it, even when it's maybe not the best moment, because it
Yeah,
feels like it's in the spirit of using the weapon like that. So maybe that's why I haven't always gotten the best results with it. I'll give it another try if I see it around.
I love that you love it, Malachi. I fully respect that.
Yeah, it's very cool, unique.
And I had kind of a bit of trouble figuring out what's a unique that grew on me that I disliked at first and then I liked. And
Mhm.
I think the best answer I could come up with was the slightly unfortunately named Corona.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah, that was named before 2020 happened.
yeah.
But if you know, there's a reason why it's named what it is. But anyway, at first I was like, man, this is kind of very whatever. Like, it was never bad, but I was like, I kind of dismissed it. And
Mhm.
then I realized, actually, hold on a second. You can learn to maximize the damage it does if you consider the layout of the room and the way enemies are distributed. Like, it's a very slow moving projectile on purpose. It means that it has much more time to sort of hit with multiple impact shots. Like, and I love the sound effect it does, by the way, the pa-teow, 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 it does. And once I realized, oh, I can also kind of do a mini game where the challenge is, how do I maximize the amount of time that the projectile exists while also trying to hit as many enemies as possible? Especially when you realize, wait, if it's underwater, it goes even slower, so it has even more time to fire shots. Or against bosses, you don't want to just stand directly below the boss and fire up. You want to go to a corner and fire diagonally. So it has like 144% of its normal duration. That means more damage. Once I started unlocking those little optimizations, I'm like, okay, now this is more interesting for me to use because now I am thinking not just about aim. I don't just have to aim at the thing I'm firing at. I have to aim at the path that maximizes its damage output. And that to me is a very fun and interesting consideration when I'm fighting.
Yeah, I'm taking mental notes on how to use Corona better.
I also need to take some notes here because I haven't used it too much, and I thought it was just kind of whatever. But now you're explaining it.
No, I felt the same way. But yeah, you have. I like to believe that when this was designed, those were things that Pure or Team D13 had in mind, and they were
Mhm.
just waiting for us to discover like all these little things that turned them from mediocre to actually quite interesting.
Let's move on to our personal favorites out of the uniques.
Ruben,
Yeah.
what your
And Ruben, if
favorite
we have the
unique?
same one,
So, oh, okay. I don't think we
maybe I
might
should go
not have.
first.
Well, there's the.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Go for it, Ruben.
Okay. So, like, Pulsar has a motif or like a theme to the weapons of like Nick's favorite like base weapon, like the Pulsar. It's the Waves. The
Mhm.
Razor Uniques have a theme, and that they're all the best weapon in the game, in my opinion. So I love Delta, which is the where they're all connected by lightning and they
Mhm.
fly across the screen. You see the lightning go all around. It's one of my favorite like
Yeah.
visual like striking weapons. I love Iron Fist. You're bullying
Yeah.
enemies. Like I don't even like high caliber weapons normally, but you don't see, but I'm like punching my mom and like bam
Bam,
bam.
bam,
I
bam.
love like just
Yeah, it's a
throwing that
very good
shit into
choice.
and but my favorite in the game is the claw. I don't know why. I just love this idea where it just latches onto an enemy and it just saps him like "Wee," and it's so powerful. I just love how it looks. Like it's such a weird extension of what the razor could be.
Hmm.
But I find it like it's my favorite for that reason. I just think it's so cool and it's good and it's nice. Doesn't take yeah.
And you like shoplifting with it?
That was actually a push it over the edge for me for why because that's the favorite. I didn't actually notice until the wiki explained it to me at one point
Hmm.
that you can actually like reduce the cost of items by just like trying to grapple it. That's kind of like okay, so this is literally just the best thing that's anyone's ever made. It's so fun.
I forgot you could shoplift with it.
Yeah, that's really what pushed it over the edge for me. Why I'm claiming the claw as my favorite for the unique weapons.
I am going to tell you something that's going to make you very sad, Ruben.
What is it?
In the original beta build where uniques were introduced, Iron Fist didn't have two balls, it had four.
Holy! That's insane. You have to give me the build now.
Bullet remembers this part of the game because it was unbelievably powerful
Yeah.
and we all loved it. And Imperial was like, no.
We can have nice things. Yeah.
No, but like seriously, it was I to this day I'm Iron Fist left such a good impression back then, and I still love it nowadays, even when it's been cut down in half because it's just that good. It's a very good pick. Okay, I'm done. Malachi?
Iron Fist is my pick.
Oh.
Damn it.
Oh.
I knew it. I knew I should have gone first.
Uh,
Yeah, I love it. Kind of for the same reason that I like Runic. It's just the aesthetic is so cool. And like you said,
Mhm.
Ruben, it just feels so awesome to go into a
Yeah.
room and just pulverize everybody. And you do kind of feel like a bully. Like nothing can stand in your way. You're just bashing everybody into the corner and punching
Yeah,
them
it takes
to death.
such big knockback too, so it's really like you're just like you're punching them against the wall, basically.
Yeah. It's so satisfying to use. I love it. I'll love it forever. So yeah, Iron Fist is my personal favorite unique.
I can't even say anything. Like it's really such a good weapon.
Yeah.
I'm
Nick-
going to track that build down now, though.
I probably have it somewhere. I can probably.
You
find
need to
it
share
for
with
you.
me and Malachi. We're going to have so much fun tonight.
You can't share it with me.
Yeah, technically I can, but I can't share it with. I don't know if Pure is okay with you getting retroactive access to everything, but
This is the wasn't this the update for Relics of the Past? Isn't this like a 4-year-old build then?
I mean, yeah, okay, fine, you can have it.
Is he gonna be like, oh, he knows that this is gonna be the Chaos God? Oh, it's gonna ruin it.
I don't know if Chaos God was in that build though. That's the thing.
You are the Chaos God in that build with 4 Iron Fists.
Oh god, it would have. I mean, it was absurdly powerful. Like, I understand why Pure nerfed it, but while it lasted, it was glorious.
What's your personal favorite unique, Nick?
I actually ended up picking 2 because I wasn't quite sure which one I liked better.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my 2 is Snowblower, the charge one. And you think, some people look at that and go, oh, that thing? I'm like, I don't think you understand. If you are very close to enemies and instead of holding fire, you just tap, that weapon does absurd amounts of damage, like legitimately. Because every time you release the button, it releases like the icicle that does the explosive charge. But if you just tap, 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 it does that every time, and every shot is very powerful. It's so effective. I love it. It probably does eat through its ammo quickly, but I love it while it lasts.
Yeah. I actually knew this because of your stream, I'm pretty sure. I just saw you use this weapon like that at some point, and then now I'm a snowblower enjoyer.
Mm-hmm.
I love this whenever I see it. I do know you're right in that this is a weapon that really doesn't hurts from like the unique reduced like max ammo thingy, but it's so good. It's so fun.
And the second pick I had was Zephyr, the railgun unique, in which when you pick it up, each enemy gets a tiny little green dot as its weak point. And if you have a fully charged projectile and it goes through the weak point, I think it deals like double damage. If you just hit that very tiny hitbox.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
I like a weapon that rewards such sharp accuracy. Like in a lot of other weapons, if you just hit it, any part of it, that's all you need. In some cases, you do want to hit multiple things, but I like that this thing is like you have a very small target, but if you hit it, it rewards you immensely. I love that kind of theme as it's becoming apparent, and I just love the presentation of the weapon. Like, I like that it has this literally unique sprite for charging up the shot and a unique sound effect and a unique projectile sprite. I love it. Like, to me, it brings to mind almost like using a bow and arrow where you charge it up, and if you hit just the sweet spot, it's such a powerful weapon. And again, it's like a mini game. You have to focus on not just aiming in the general direction of enemies, but hitting a very precise spot, and you get a lot in return. So, yeah, those are my picks for favorite uniques.
Great picks.
I love how all of the weapons that I think me and also Malachi picked, like they're all these looks cool, this looks cool, and then Nick's are all like the thinking man's picks.
Well, it's more like what's the fastest possible way to kill everything is my mentality, and also like, it's okay if I have to play risky or reckless to do it. I'm willing to do it and learn, and you could say to some extent I have purposefully tried to learn to play the game in that way and to maximize that. But hey, coolness is absolutely a valid reason to pick something as your favorite. Coolness is very much an important factor when we're talking about uniques and just weapons in general. Like, if there's something that I think we can all agree on, is that all of the work that Team D13 has put into making weapons look cool and feel good, all of it is delightful, and we would very, very much appreciate all of it, and we would love it if it was even more.
For sure.
Thanks so much for listening to our Star of Providence fan cast. Big thanks, as always, to Garoslav for allowing us to use his music and sound effects.
You can check out all of the Star of Providence soundtracks on Bandcamp, the base game soundtrack, the Relics of the Past soundtrack, and the 5th Anniversary Edition soundtrack. And I would like to thank Ruben for being here with us and talking with us. Thank you so much. Is there anything of yours that you'd like to plug?
If you like Spumps, I've got a YouTube channel where I upload my replays. But besides that, I'll probably show myself a bit more often once the new update comes out. Maybe stream it a bit. So we've got that to look forward to. But that's about it.
If you have any comments or suggestions for the show, you can reach out to us on Discord. We will post the server link in the show description.
And there you will find fellow pilots to talk with and discuss the show. Thanks for listening. We'll hope you'll join us next time.
This is what you came for, isn't it?
So be it.